Good afternoon, everyone, and happy Monday. It's Alyssa Corum here, and I'm joined by Ed Carson. We're going to break down the action for the major index. But first, Ed's got a rundown of the stocks that we're going to be analyzing. Hey, Ed.
Hey, good afternoon, Allie. We saw Tesla just continue to skyrocket once again, hitting a record high. Meanwhile, Ollie's Bargain Outlet and JD.com broke through some trend lines. Looks like they're actionable.
All right, well, we'll get to those, but first, a look at the major indexes. The Nasdaq finishing up about 1% for the day. The S&P 500 up about 0.3%, and the Dow down 0.3%. But the Nasdaq looking very strong here today.
Yeah, it was sort of a flip of last week where the Nasdaq was essentially flat and the Dow and S&P were outperforming, and growth stocks had sort of a mixed session. Today, the Nasdaq clearly led, hitting a record high. The growth stocks had a really strong day. So a lot of things that are very positive, that are going through there. There are some concerns about a long-term trend line going on, but in the short run, we still seem to be in decent shape, not overextended. So good opportunity to continue to see some gains here.
Yeah, and look at those actionable stocks. One, though, that is not in a proper buy area anymore would be Tesla, gaining another 11% today, Ed. So just really seeing a lot of momentum here after last week announcing that 5-for-1 stock split. And, before then, it was looking like it was about to see a trip down to that 50 line, perhaps closing below the 21-day for the first time in quite a while on its run. So last week on that news was the last proper entry really to get in here.
Yeah, on that day, that first day of the rebound, there's various places over the 21-day, the 1500, what have you. There's various places. But after that day, it was sort of getting extended. Now it's just continued to power on and maybe continue to power on. I mean, I don't want to say that it won't keep going up, but there's a higher risk now that it could come back and come back a lot. And you can just look at its recent history when it hit the previous high of 1794 and came down fairly quickly just that day. And then over a couple of weeks got down to there. So buying at these levels just seems, just dangerous. You want to try to wait for a setup. Yes, it's great. Yes, it's hot. Everybody's talking about it, but there's just a danger at this point. You just don't want to get caught in a stock that's doing great, but you get sucked under.
Exactly. You got to buy at the right time. And if you did buy at the right time, important to be aware of those sell rules now, because you're sitting on a pretty big double-digit gain. So you definitely don't want to see that completely disappear. And like you said, this one has the potential to act a little wild, judging by its recent history. But we're going to keep an eye on it and see if perhaps another setup does appear. But in the meantime, important to keep those proper buy and sell rules in mind. And next on our list, let's check in on Ollie's Bargain Outlet, OLLI. We've been eyeing this one really since this first pullback to the 10-week line after this sharp move higher from the bottom here. And it is rebounding higher with a gain of over 3% today over a downward sloping trend line. Or even if you take a look at the weekly chart here, yet another continuation of a rebound off of this key 10-week line.
Yeah, so that was nice action. We've been watching it. This has a pretty strong record going for years past. Closeout retailer. People are looking for bargains. A lot of discounters are doing well. Walmart broke out today. Dollar General already broke out. Dollar Tree broke out. So there's a lot of reasons there, and other retailers going bankrupt might provide a lot of merchandise for this company, just to be honest. So there's a lot of good reasons why you would say the story's there. It was nice rebound, and you could even say it sort of rebounded from the prior buy point area when it sort of came above that 10-week line, or even the little resistance in there. Like if it went back to a daily, you could sort of see like a mini double bottom. I don't want to call it double bottom, but there's sort of that resistance there, and it pounded out on that day. It sort of found support right at that area. Again, just showing that it's sort of trending up, found support at key areas, and had a solid day today.
Yeah, right around that 100 area. And last but not least, also seeing a strong rebound off of the 10-week or 50-day from JD.com, which also presented an actionable buying opportunity. And this is yet another one that we touched on IBD Live this morning before it strengthened. It looked a little iffy there in the early going.
Yeah, because you could say, well, it bounced off the 10-week line, and it certainly did, and it never came close to having a trouble on that. But there was a trend line on this one as well, and in the first 5 minutes, the first hour, a couple of times, around the 30, 64, 64 and a half, it came up. A couple of times it got up there and came back, and then strengthened, went through, which actually, because it hit resistance there, tells you that the trend line really did matter. It seemed like it hit there and came down, but then it bounced back and it's strengthened. And if we went back to a daily, it just kept on powering on. Not only did it hit the trend line as an early entry, but it also hit this sort of little area there. That's another place you could add to it. And that's a way to scale into it. There's different ways you can scale into a position, but maybe you say, I'm going to take a little partial position at that initial trend line break when it really came through after that first hour or so. And then you can add on to it here. So, if it had reversed on you initially, you weren't going to get too hit by that initial thought.
Yeah, such a good point in this move, of course, coming on the quarterly earnings report. Huge volume here today as well. But Ed, you talking about scaling in, that's such a great point when we're talking about initiating positions. It doesn't have to be, or it most likely shouldn't be, an all or nothing full position right there at the get-go. Pyramiding into a stock is something that we definitely highly recommend, and we talk about a lot, whether it's IBD Live or our podcast or our great content at investors.com. We really drill into those strategies for everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's going to be a big week for e-commerce. In addition to JD, we have Pinduoduo, we have Alibaba, and we have VipShop. So a lot going on for that sector.
Oh yeah, we're definitely keeping close tabs on it. See what else could come out of that group, and if JD can follow on that gain today. And we will be breaking all of that down for you, not just on this show, but also IBD Live, which is our daily morning live stream where our experts are sharing their screens, talking about not just the news of the day, but the actionable stocks and strategies for handling them. It's a lot of fun, and we hope everyone joins us over at investors.com/IBD Live. All right, everyone, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you right back here tomorrow.